Now on to Sri Lanka. We are here in Colombo. As you know, the country is heading to polls on the 21st of September. There are 39 candidates on the ballot, but it's largely a three-way contest. And one of the front-runners is the current president, Ranil Wickremesinghe. Earlier today, we sat down with him to find out why he thinks he's going to win this election. Are the Tamils going to vote for him? What does he think of the other candidates in the fray? What's his advice to Bangladesh, his take on India-Maldives ties and the Chinese spy ships that come in the name of conducting research? We talked about all of this and more. Here's an excerpt from that conversation. President Wickremesinghe, welcome to First Post. How are you?
Keeping fine. Haven't seen you for some time.
Yeah, it's been 1 year, exactly a year back. We were talking in the exact same room, and before that in 2022 we had a conversation when Sri Lanka was on the brink of economic and social collapse, and that was a period of chaos, and that is when you took charge. When you look back, do you think you've been able to accomplish all that you set out to?
Yes. I wanted to have, I was going to establish stability, have a stable Sri Lanka, law and order being maintained, the democratic system to go ahead, and of course to put the economy back on track. I've done that.
The experts who've been following your actions and your policy moves see the changes, that there is social stability and the economy is in much better shape than what it was 2 years ago. But your critics say that you used excess force to dismantle the protest sites, and even in the economic reforms that you brought in, people complain that the taxes are still too high, the VAT rates that were introduced earlier this year are high, electricity bills are going up. Do you think that maybe the bitter pill was too bitter?
I don't think the bitter pill was too bitter. We had to take a pill at some time and someone had to take a decision. No one was willing to take that decision, and I didn't want it to be another Greece. We still have a gap, which I will in 2025 be able to bridge so that people will feel their life is back to normal.
They're going to vote on Saturday. Do you think that they will get the message?
I've given the message, and many of them have got it, that this is a process and we'll finish it in 3 years. They have also got the message that those who are trying to help them were those who are not willing to help them in 2022 and ran away. That is the major issue. Can you trust those who ran away?
Yes, the public memory, they say, is short, and the IMF, we understand, is pushing for more austerity measures, and this has been a trend, you know, in countries like Kenya, where they asked the government to tighten its belt, and that led to protests, and that has been a criticism against the fund. Do you think that they're unfair to borrowers like you?
No, to begin with, they are not asked for any more austerity measures, and
they're not
no one will
for more rate interest hikes.
No interest. Interest hikes will be decided by the market, not by the IMF. They left that to us.
You talked about debt restructuring deals, and it's been a complex conversation for you and negotiations. You signed 2 restructuring deals this year. One was with the OCC, the Official Creditors Committee, of which India is a part. The second was separately with China. And these were very, like I said, complex negotiations. Do you think it would have been easier for Sri Lanka had all the players been part of one framework?
Certainly it will be much easier, but then we are not expecting that to happen.
You did push the Chinese.
If I asked them also if they like to come together, but they said they are negotiate on different basis. So I think this has more to do with the power politics of the IMF and the share that China should get than anything to do with Sri Lanka.
Let's talk about the elections. You've been described as the old guard in this election, and the other 2 contenders are both in their mid-50s. In the last 2 years, as you went about fixing things in Sri Lanka, did at any point you think that you should pass the torch, or have you decided to sort of see the job done before you leave?
I thought both those guys are not energetic enough. And in fact, I thought I should give them some energy drinks. Even now they are far behind me. I came here, but I want to finish the job.
You took power a couple of years back with support from Rajapaksa's party, SLPP, and the public anger was, and some of it still continues to be directed against them. Do you think that is going to affect your chances in this election?
I took over the job as Prime Minister because no one else was doing it. Public is not angry with me on that. The SJB said they won't take it. They said publicly. JVP also didn't touch it. And then I became president because no one was wanting to be president either. Though again, no one wanted to touch it. As a result, I took over and now I'm running the country. Now those who ran away are now trying to find reasons by saying that the Rajapaksas are with me. But Rajapaksas are now contesting on their own. Namal is contesting.
What do you think of his chances?
I am not very positive about his chances, no. In my view, he should have thought twice before contesting.
Sure. We looked at opinion polls in the Sri Lankan media and they seem to think that NPP leader Anura Dissanayake is the front runner. I'm not going to ask you about the opinion polls, but you spoke about Namal Rajapaksa. What's your impression of Mr. Dissanayake?
Mr. Dissanayake has been in the opposition. He has now become a threat to Mr. Sajith Premadasa. He is not a threat to me.
Okay. If he does by any chance manage to win, we know that his party has an anti-India past. What would it mean for the relationship between New Delhi and Colombo? And I ask this because we've seen things change vis-a-vis the Maldives and more recently with Bangladesh.
But I worried he won't win.
But if he were to, would you worry?
I said he won't win, so why worry about it? I don't worry about things that's not going to happen.
Okay.
It won't snow in Colombo tomorrow, why should I worry about it?
Some hardline Tamil groups have decided to boycott the election. Some others are backing a common Tamil candidate and yet others are backing Sajith Premadasa. Do you think the Tamil vote is going to be split in this election?
No, it will come to me.
It'll come to you?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
The politicians are backing different candidates. People are backing me.
Do you have any survey, anything that has given you this?
Look, I've gone there. I know the people. It's going to happen.
That's very interesting. I think that's a headline there. Let's talk about regional politics as well. And we saw what we saw in Bangladesh. Did you see it coming? Did you imagine that this would happen in Dhaka?
I didn't think it would happen so fast. I knew there were problems coming up and it had to be dealt with. But looks as if the manner in which they handled it was really problematic. This would have happened in Sri Lanka if what the opposition said took place. That is, no one was willing to be president.
Yes, and the person who is in charge right now, his utterances and actions, of course Sheikh Hasina is in India and that has become a big point of contention and Bangladesh wants her to be extradited at some point. There is the question of minorities. There is visible tension between Dhaka and New Delhi. What is your advice to both these players?
First is to get stability into Bangladesh. And we are also investors. They have told the people to stay there. First give them confidence. And we should all help Bangladesh to get back on its feet. As far as Sheikh Hasina is concerned, these are what you call political issues. And it has to be decided in such a manner. Many leaders leave their countries, go abroad, and they remain abroad. So that's really a political matter. I think what we have to give priority is to Bangladesh becoming stable. And if Sheikh Hasina is out of the country, let her be out of the country.
Last year when I spoke to you, Mohammad Muizzu had just taken over in the Maldives and there was this whole anti-India, India out campaign that propelled him to power. And you said in our interview that he should go slow on his approach towards India. Do you think he's heeded your advice?
He's certainly more friendly with India now. He told me afterwards that he had to make some promises in the election. That's what he had to do. But I was there when Prime Minister Modi was sworn in and I found the chemistry between them have really improved.
Because reality has kicked in and he realizes that working with India is the way forward.
You should go to Mahalia and ask that question from.
Earlier this year, your government also imposed a moratorium on the Chinese, they call themselves research vessels, and since then none of those vessels has docked in Sri Lanka, but that is going to be lifted in January unless there is a revision in policy from Colombo's side.
There's a report. We stopped everything till the report came in. And also our desire to build up our own capacity on hydrology. I think the report should be available. I haven't looked at it. But we've looked at the practices and let's see what's in the report.
What kind of pressure is there from Beijing to allow the ships to come?
No, Beijing likes its ships to come, but we explain to them that the report has to come in. And see, we generally allow ships to come in, but Beijing, their warships have come. I think there was a sailing ship also that was coming in. It's only in regard to some of the research, but we're also doing research. So
You believe that research bit? Do you think there's 5 ships?
ships that have come in are research ships.
But they do other things also.
I don't know. I haven't gone into it. We haven't gone into.
They're coming to your country.
Yes, so they are come as a research ship.
But do you share New Delhi's concerns that they may be indulging in spying as well?
We have talked with Delhi to ensure that there are nothing adverse to their security that's taking place. So we looked into those, and Chinese are aware of it. It's not something secret. We've told them also.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and wish you all the very best for the election.
Thank you.